Have you ever wondered why some men live surrounded by opportunity, abundance, and freedom, while others, even though they work hard their entire lives, can barely keep their heads above water? It's not luck, it's not talent, and it's definitely not inheritance. What separates empire builders from financial survivors is one thing: a deep understanding of the silent rules that govern money. Most people live decades without ever learning a single one of them, and that's why they waste their time, energy, and even their souls in exchange for crumbs. Today, you and I are going to sit down face to face, and if you have the courage to follow me to the end, I will give you the 15 rules of money, not as theory, but as the foundation of empires. Applied them myself when I rose from extreme poverty in Scotland to build a billion-dollar fortune in the United States. They are timeless principles, simple but fiercely ignored by the weak. By understanding and applying these rules, your financial life will never be the same. You will cease to be a hostage to chance and become the architect of your own destiny. But be warned, what I am about to reveal to you requires more than just attentive ears. It requires the courage to abandon inherited beliefs, the discipline to apply what you learn, and above all, vision. Vision to see beyond the illusion of a fixed salary, slow savings, and an uncertain retirement. You will discover that financial freedom is not a finish line, but a structure built with daily choices. Each rule will be like a brick, and at the end of this session, if you have enough wisdom to put each one in the right place, you will have before you the plans for a new life. If you feel that you were born for something greater, that you arrived late, but still want time, that money has always been a problem, but can become an ally, then this video is your turning point. And since we're talking about decisions that shape destiny, take this moment to commit. Be part of a circle of people who refuse to accept mediocrity. Join me. Follow this channel now. Not out of vanity, but out of purpose. Because you need to be where great minds are formed. And this is your new starting point. Let's start with the first rule of money. Wealth is built, not conquered. Real money doesn't come from lucky breaks or sporadic bets. It is built, layer by layer, with patience and structure. I see many looking for shortcuts, skipping steps, begging for magic formulas. The brutal truth is that wealth is not an event. It is a process. And that process requires an engineer's mindset. You design, you test, you adjust, and you execute. The fatal mistake of the poor is to seek quick gains. The truly wealthy prefer slow, solid, irreversible structures. And that is why, when the world collapses, they are the only ones left standing. The second rule: money obeys those who understand cycles. Everything in life moves in waves, high and low, expansion and contraction, prosperity and crisis. The ignorant enter the market in euphoria and leave in panic. The wise do exactly the opposite. When fear dominates, they buy. When optimism blinds, they sell. This simple reversal is responsible for immense fortunes. But it requires absolute self-control. It's not about being a genius, it's about being strategic. About reading the signs before the herd, and trusting numbers more than emotions. Rule 3. Wealth loves clarity. Money flows where there is organization, not confusion. If you don't know how much you earn, how much you spend, how much you owe, and how much you earn, then you don't have money. You have an illusion. My entire fortune began with a notebook. I wrote down every penny. It wasn't about the amount, it was about control. Only those who master the details control money, and those who master the details control their destiny. Organize your financial life as if you were building a bridge. One miscalculation can cause it to collapse. But precision breeds security, and security breeds boldness. Fourth rule: money is a consequence, never the ultimate goal. True power lies in who you become while you build. If you focus only on accumulation, you will be consumed by greed. But if you turn your journey into a mission, every dollar will be a seed. And seeds, when well planted, blossom into impact. Wealth without purpose is a trap. Wealth with purpose is a legacy. And a legacy is not something you leave behind. It is something you activate in life by touching other lives. The fifth rule is simple and relentless. Money hates amateurs. Amateurs live on impulse. Professionals operate with method. Amateurs dream of gains. Professionals build systems. And systems are the foundation of all freedom. A business without process is a sandcastle. A life without a budget is a minefield. It doesn't matter how much you earn if it all slips away because you lack method. Learn to think like an engineer. Plan, execute, measure, adjust, and repeat until excellence becomes standard. The sixth rule: never confuse income with wealth. Income is movement. Wealth is retention. I see many who earn well, live well, and die poor. Because they never understood that the secret is not in how much comes in, but in how much stays. The difference between the man who lives on his salary and the man who lives on his assets lies in the intelligence of retention. One invests the surplus. The other consumes the illusion. One builds foundations. The other piles up expenses. There is no wealth where there is no retention, and there is no retention where there is no discipline. Seventh rule: money is a true reflection of your identity. What you have in your account is a snapshot of your beliefs. If you believe you don't deserve it, you will sabotage it. If you believe it's difficult, you will push it away. But if you understand that money is a tool, not a burden, it will come. Money does not transform. It reveals, it amplifies, it exposes. So before you change your balance, change your soul. A rich mind precedes a rich bank account, always. The eighth rule is brutally honest. Those who don't understand interest pay, those who do receive. This is the most silent and devastating law of the financial system. Compound interest can enslave you or set you free. The choice is yours. And it starts with knowledge. A man ignorant about interest is condemned to modern servitude, but the man who understands, he can create wealth while sleeping. Literally, because money well invested works even while you rest. And that is the most sublime form of freedom. The ninth rule is one that the weak hate to hear. Money is war, and you need a strategy to win. This is not an arena for the sentimental. It is a field where those who think 5 moves ahead win. When I started out, I had no money, no connections, just a mastery of efficiency and an obsession with strategy. Most people enter the financial game as if it were a walk in the park. But I tell you, if you treat money like a game, it will humiliate you. Treat it like a war. Study the terrain, know your rivals, strengthen your base, form alliances. Money is not about effort, it's about positioning. It's about making the game play for you. Rule 10. Who you choose to walk beside you determines the speed and direction of your wealth. Money is collective energy. If your allies are fearful, lazy, or unproductive, your fortune will be dragged down by their emotional swamp. In the beginning, I had to cut ties with people who loved me, but didn't want to grow. Today, I see people trying to get rich surrounded by human anchors. You will never build an empire carrying people who only know how to burn bridges. Choose allies who think big, act with precision, and know how to protect what they build. Remember, even the purest gold is buried with protection around it. 11th rule: money only bows to usefulness. It doesn't matter how much you want to earn more. The market will only pay for one thing: solutions. The world rewards those who solve problems. If you want more money, learn to solve more problems, bigger problems, and faster. That's how I grew up. While others argued, I executed. While others dreamed, I delivered results. Money is blind to excuses, but it sees utility with absolute clarity. Become indispensable, and you will see money running after you. 12th. The greatest lever of wealth is multiplication. A worker exchanges time for money. A rich man exchanges money for more money. But the man who builds empires He multiplies talents. I didn't get rich alone. I became rich by finding men brighter than me and putting them to work on something bigger than any of us. Multiplication requires delegation. It requires trust. And above all, it requires leadership. Don't be afraid to hire someone better than you. Be afraid to keep around those who limit your vision. Rule number 13. Money requires ritual. You don't save by accident. You don't invest on impulse. You don't scale a business by luck. Everything is ritual, routine, daily discipline. I woke up before the sun. I reviewed my numbers. I organized every decision. Every penny had a destination, and every day had a mission. Those who have a financial ritual master the invisible. And it is in this invisible realm that wealth is formed. The problem is not that you don't know how to invest. The problem is that you don't have the discipline to apply what you already know. Ritual is what transforms intention into fortune. Rule 14. Money without philosophy is poison. True wealth is born when you understand that money must serve a greater cause. When I built my fortune, I knew it didn't belong to me. It was a tool, a channel, a means to create universities, libraries, opportunities. When money becomes an end in itself, it corrupts. But when it is put to work for something greater, it multiplies with divine force. The rich man who keeps everything for himself is a miserable man with a high bank balance. But the man who distributes wisely, he is worthy of eternity. And finally, the 15th rule. Money responds to your long-term vision. The world is full of men who win for a year and go broke in the next decade. Why? Because they lived for the short term. They didn't build roots. They didn't think beyond the quarter. My greatest weapon has always been vision. While everyone else was thinking about their next paycheck, I was thinking about the next century. Everything I created was based on solidity, not haste. True wealth requires intergenerational planning. Are you building something that will outlive you, or just trying to pay the bills in style? Now, listen carefully. These 15 rules are not pretty phrases to be repeated. They are codes of war. Maps for those who have decided to stop surviving and start building. But here's the truth that no one wants to hear. Knowing doesn't change anything. Applying is what transforms. And only you can decide whether these rules will become building blocks or just more forgotten content. And since you've come this far, I want to challenge you. Write in the comments which of these 15 rules confronted you the most today. Which one hurt the most? Which one revealed a truth you've been avoiding? This is your commitment to your new story. And I want to see each of you give voice to it. Your empire starts now. And every empire starts with a public commitment. Now that you know the 15 rules of money, it's time to understand how to apply them, because what separates dreamers from builders is the ability to turn principles into practice. Money doesn't respect good intentions. It only responds to structure, and it all starts with a brutally honest question. How solid is your foundation? If your financial life were a building, would it withstand a crisis? Would it withstand sudden unemployment, a family emergency, or business failure? Or would it collapse in a week? The first real application of the 15 rules is this: build a foundation before you build towers. You're not going to apply compound interest if you're drowning in debt. You're not going to invest in businesses if your home is in emotional turmoil. You need a minimum structure. And that structure requires 3 pillars: absolute control, brutal clarity, and unwavering discipline. Absolute control comes from the decision to stop living in the dark. You will sit down, open every statement, every bill, every debt. You will face the numbers like a general faces a war map. No running away. Running away is the sport of the weak. The strong confront. If you don't master your numbers, you will be enslaved by them. Brutal clarity requires you to answer accurately. How much do you want to earn in the next 5 years? How much do you want to save? What do you want to invest in? What do you want to build? And most importantly, why? Wealth without purpose is just sophisticated vanity. But with purpose, it becomes a personal revolution. You need to have goals as clear as steel. Because loose money gets lost, but money with direction is an avalanche. An unwavering discipline. That is the queen of financial virtues. It is not born with you. It is forged on the days when you don't want to, but you do. On the days when the world distracts you, but you focus. On the days when everything shakes, but you move forward. Those who master discipline master destiny. Now, let's move on to the most neglected area of wealth. Building your emotional mindset around money. Money is an intensifier. It amplifies what you feel, what you think, what you are. If you are insecure, it will bring fear. If you are arrogant, it will bring ruin. If you are balanced, it will bring expansion. Most people never achieve wealth because they are afraid of having it. Afraid of losing it, of being rejected, of being hated. Afraid of standing out. But I say to you, stand out. You weren't born to fit in. You were born to command, to create, to lead. Money requires inner strength, and inner strength is born when you decide that you are going to rule your life, with or without applause. Apply the rule of usefulness. Become a serial problem solver. Choose a relevant problem, solve it in a superior way, and bring that solution to more people. If you want to get rich, stop asking, how much does it cost? And start asking, how much value do I deliver? Money goes to those who create solutions, not to those who only point out problems. You are not unemployed, you are temporarily oblivious to the pain of the market. Fix that now. Study what hurts people. Create a simple solution. Sell it, adjust it, scale it, repeat, and never settle. Also leverage people. Remember the rule of multiplication. Create alliances. Build a team. Don't try to be a lone hero. The lone hero is the weakest on the field. The true king is the one who builds kingdoms with other people's hands. When I delegated my first task, I realized I didn't need to do everything. I just needed to orchestrate everything. Greatness lies in developing people who are better than you. And to do that, you need to abandon your ego. Ego is the greatest enemy of wealth. Now, I want to talk about a mistake that devastates millions of people around the world. Confusing appearance with wealth. No one gets rich by buying symbols of wealth. The man who spends $10,000 on a watch before he has a solid net worth is digging his own grave with elegance. He is the fool dressed in luxury, on his way to bankruptcy. Do you want to impress? Impress with your intelligence, your vision, your ability to create, not with a financed car or a house beyond your means. True wealth is invisible in the early years. It forms in silence, behind the scenes, in habits. Then, yes, it screams. But first, it whispers. And only those with the ears of a builder can hear it. Now, tell me, are you willing to cut out the superfluous for 3 years to live the essential for 30? Are you ready to be criticized for living below the standard today, to be envied for having total freedom tomorrow? Are you willing to study at night while others drink? To say no to immediate pleasure in exchange for lasting peace? Because here's the real secret. Financial freedom is the reward of the disciplined, and only the disciplined reach the top. I want you to understand this. Your life can change radically in 24 months. If you apply the 15 rules obsessively, eliminate distractions, operate methodically, surround yourself with giants, and focus on solving problems, you will see money flowing in ways that seem unattainable today. I'm not talking about magic. I'm talking about method, consistency, vision. You can indeed move from chaos to control, but that requires a break. With the old you, with the old pattern, with the old narrative, you already understand that money is a structure. You already understand that it requires ritual, vision, and discipline. Now, it's time to get into the most brutal, liberating, and neglected part of building empires, your schedule. No fortune is built outside of time. Time is the soil where money is planted, and those who don't master their schedule will never have the right to command their own lives. The man who lets others fill his time will soon be a slave to other people's dreams. Do you want to get rich? Start by mastering your hours. Wake up before the world. Bring order to chaos. Turn every morning into a decision center. Use the first hour of your day to review your numbers. Adjust your goals. Read a page of wisdom, and remember your mission. No empire is born of haste, improvisation, or distraction. An empire is born of ritual, and ritual is born of the schedule. People live busy lives, few live on a mission. Money doesn't reward those who do a lot. It rewards those who do what matters. Working 12 hours without direction is not worth 2 hours with surgical precision. The secret is not in working harder, it's in working with brutal efficiency. You need to learn to eliminate, to cut, to say no. Every yes you say to something irrelevant is a no you say to your fortune. Be relentless with your time, and it will be generous with your wealth. Now listen carefully. You need a plan. A real, concrete, written, quantifiable plan. Most people say they want wealth, but they live without a map. They hope chance will organize their route. But there is nothing more cruel than living on hope instead of direction. Your plan needs to include how much you need to live freely, how long it will take to get there, what assets you will build, how much capital you will need to accumulate, and how you will protect all of this from external instability. There is no wealth without defense. The money you build needs to be shielded against crises, against toxic people, against impulsive decisions. I built a billion-dollar fortune because I learned to protect before expanding. You don't just need assets. You need a wall, a solid foundation, an emergency plan, a protocol for moments of chaos. The man who thinks with a war mindset is the only one who remains in times of collapse. And never, ever underestimate the power of continuous learning. Your knowledge is your greatest asset. Real, applied knowledge, not empty theory. You need to become a financial strategist. Study investments. Study taxation. Study income multiplication. But, above all, study people. Those who understand people rule the world. My greatest skill has always been choosing the right men for the right places. This art is worth more than any MBA. And here's another truth that few face. You need to learn how to sell. Sell ideas, sell solutions, sell your vision. Communication skills are the invisible engine of wealth. Brilliant men fail because they don't know how to position themselves. Mediocre men get rich because they master the art of influence. You can have the best idea, the best product, the best plan, but if no one knows about it, you'll remain poor. Learn to be persuasive, objective, clear. Learn to turn words into capital. Now listen to me with an open mind. Don't get distracted. The modern world is a distraction factory. Every notification, every media scandal, every new course, every new crisis, everything is designed to pull your attention away from what's essential. Do you want wealth? Then cultivate silence. Disconnect from the noise. Connect with your mission. Wealth is formed in the invisible, and the invisible requires absolute focus. The distracted mind does not create, it only reacts. And if you have children, or plan to have them, here is the noblest responsibility of your journey. Teach the 15 rules. Teach the value of patience. Teach the beauty of simplicity. Teach that money is not the enemy, is a tool. The greatest legacy is not financial inheritance, but mental inheritance. I have built libraries, universities, foundations, but what I am most proud of is having planted seeds of vision in minds I will never meet in person. Do that too. Teach, overflow, multiply. You don't have to be the smartest, or the fastest, or the most connected. But you do need to be the most disciplined, the most determined, the most uncompromising in your mission. If you apply just 20% of what I've shared here, with total consistency, your life will change irreversibly in less than 2 years. If you apply everything obsessively, then you won't just get rich, you'll become a reference point. Influence, transformation, And remember, true wealth is not about how much you accumulate, but how much potential you activate in the people around you. You were born for more, and now you know exactly how to get there. You heard every word. You felt every rule pulsate. And now you are faced with a choice. Return to routine, to comfort, to mediocrity disguised as security, ... Or activate everything you already know, and begin, in fact, to build your freedom. I know it's not easy. But I also know that everything changes the moment you decide that enough is enough. Enough of surviving, enough of obeying the system, enough of repeating inherited patterns. Wealth will not come by chance. It will come when you refuse to continue living on autopilot and take full responsibility for your story. You need a new pattern, a new code, a new sense of identity. Enough of thinking small. Enough of seeking only stability. Life is meant to be lived on a grand scale. And money, when properly understood, is the most powerful instrument of freedom, impact, and purpose. But it only bows to those who lead with discipline and courage. The world is full of brilliant ideas that have been abandoned, of wasted talent, of stories that could have changed generations, but were swallowed up by inertia. Don't be another one. Be the breaking point. Start by eliminating everything that weakens your energy. Negative people, digital distractions, habits that steal your focus. Every emotional addiction costs more than any financial debt, and every emotional distraction is a silent sabotage of your empire. You need to protect your energy like you protect a gold mine. It is the fuel of execution, and execution is the name of wealth. Apply the ritual rule obsessively. Set a weekly plan for study, execution, evaluation, and adjustments. Set aside non-negotiable blocks of time. It doesn't matter if you have children, work, difficulties, you have time. What you don't have yet is the mental structure to defend it. But that changes now. Because, from this moment on, you have a plan. You have a code. You have a mission. Remember the rule of multiplication. Find people who are better than you. Seek out mentors. Connect with those who have already succeeded where you want to succeed. But above all, become the kind of person a winner would want to connect with. Grow, refine, amplify, and when you start to prosper, don't forget the rule of strategic philanthropy. Give back, invest in people, build something bigger than your name. Wealth that doesn't reach other lives is just accumulation. Wealth that transforms becomes eternity. And yes, there will be days of doubt. There will be falls, there will be silence. But if you remember that all of this is part of the process, then you will continue, and those who continue win. Not because they are lucky, but because they have vision. The world you want is waiting for you. It is not far away. It is hidden behind the decisions you avoid, behind the discipline you put off, behind the fear you feed. But now you have a weapon. You have the 15 rules of money. And no force in the world can stop a man who lives with purpose, discipline, and vision. This isn't just mentoring. It's a pact between you and your future, between your current reality and your empire in the making. And if you've had the courage to listen to me this far, then you have everything you need to turn the key. Now go, execute, build. Share this message with those who need to break out of mediocrity. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, do it now. Not for me, but for yourself. Because here, we are forming a generation of builders, of leaders, of conscious wealth creators. And you are part of that now. It's your turn. Build. And don't stop until your life becomes the greatest testimony to the power of these rules. Andrew Carnegie,